Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're joining us around the world today. My name is Chris Rogers. I'm a Senior Technology Evangelist at Zerto and HPE, and I'd like to introduce Martin to the call as well. Martin, are you there?
Hello, everyone. I'm Martin Arende, Product Marketing Manager with Zerto. I'll be working on the back end, managing the Q&A. But feel free to ask any questions.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you, Martin. Yeah, so feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A box as you can see on your screens. Yeah, and let's dive in. So thank you for joining us today. So this is spring into resilience. So what's new in data protection at HPE and Zerto in Q1? So that's the calendar year Q1. So let's dive straight in. So a quick agenda. So resilience and scale is where we've mainly had our focus for Q1, which we'll go through in a little bit. And then what's new in the three portfolio products we're going to cover today. So what's new in Zerto, what's new in HPE GreenLake for backup and recovery, and what's new in HPE GreenLake for disaster recovery. And then obviously we'll take your questions at the end as well. So the real focus for the products and developer teams in Q1 for HPE and Zerto this quarter was resilience and scale. But that's not just been this quarter. You know, we've been doing that for pretty much the whole life cycle of all the products that are on the screen. And you can see that by the unparalleled scale across hybrid cloud that we can achieve across all those portfolio products, but especially Zerto with their cross cloud platform, helping customers ensure organizations achieve cyber resilience through that entire portfolio I've mentioned. That resilience we talk about isn't just about data loss from natural disasters or power or anything else like that. A lot of it now is to do with ransomware and cyber threats. So how do we ensure customers can maintain uptime and minimize downtime and data loss using the portfolio of products? We've radically simplified data protection at scale. We're talking thousands or tens of thousands of virtual machines protected in single customer sites, hundreds of thousands, if not millions worldwide. And we've always had a security-centric approach to the way we deal with data protection. And you can see that from the GreenLake portal, having multi-factor authentication, role-based access control, dual authorization, all built into that portal for you to deploy. So let's look at what's new in Zerto for Q1 this year. So firstly, I'd like to introduce that we now have the pre-hardened Linux appliance, the one that you have probably seen been announced for the VMware and Azure platforms on previous releases, is now available for AWS. That means a higher baseline security for all of our customers. All of our customers are now deploying into AWS, not onto a Windows machine, but a pre-hardened Linux appliance. It's going to minimize costs and reduce costs actually by not needing that Windows license anymore, which is great. A much simpler deployment methodology will be available in the AWS marketplace. So no need to deploy a template of Windows and then install a package on top of that. Straight into the marketplace, find Zerto, deploy into your environment, and away you go. And then the management on top of that's even easier as well, because as with all the hardened appliances that Zerto provided over the last year or two, the OS is managed for you. You don't need to do security patches, anything like that. We do everything. So whenever, as soon as there's a new update required, we tell you in the portal there's a new update, and you can upgrade directly through the appliance to the new version. So no need to manage that OS or any of those security patches that are required. So hopefully, really great news for all the customers who are using AWS. I will say this is for new deployments currently only, and there will be a migration tool coming soon. But for those new deployments, the new sites you're deploying, absolutely use the Linux appliance from the marketplace. And I want to preface all of this. I'm not here to read the release notes to you guys. Like, there are release notes and all of these things. We have all the technical detail and everything else like that. I don't think anybody needs an audiobook of me reading the release notes. So I'm going to be going through this at a relatively high level, so you get to understand what we've released, and anything that takes your fancy. Feel free to ask questions if you don't understand or want more detail. But a lot of the detail is going to be in release notes you'll be able to find on help.zerto.com. And along with the pre-hardened Linux appliance for AWS, we've improved scale. We're now allowing you a faster RTO into AWS. So on average, we're 25% faster than we used to be, with no additional components or costs. I think that's amazing. That's pretty much something for nothing, right? And all we've done is change some backend stuff. We're now using IO2 disks rather than IO1 disks. So we've got some custom configuration to make sure that doesn't cost you any more in the AWS platform, which is really cool. And where those IO2 disks aren't available, we'll continue to use the IO1 disks. So you don't have to worry about anything. It's all done for you guys. No additional components, as I mentioned, no additional cost in those things there. And actually, in some of our testing, we've seen up to 35% faster on certain size of disk. So huge benefit, huge performance upgrade. We've improved the automation at scale for Azure. So with Linux virtual machines, when you are failing them over into Azure, we had to run the Zerto for Linux VMs for Azure script, which prepared those VMs with the right drivers and network settings, etc., for them to be able to fail over successfully into Azure. We've now automated that for you, so you don't need to run any manual config. No manual scripts, no pre-recovery scripts, anything else like that. We're running all of that for you inside the platform. So as any other failover you would do, you don't have to prepare the VMs beforehand. It's exactly the same now for those Linux machines going into Azure. It massively simplifies the whole process of planning that failover or unplanned failovers into Azure. We now support dark sites with the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance for VMware. Not all sites can be connected, open to the internet, available for online updates, etc. We understand that. So we now support those dark sites with the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance because we can do offline upgrades. No need to connect to the web, no need to connect out to the internet to pull down upgrade packages. You can put them in to your dark sites in whatever methodology you need to verify that they're safe and secure, and then do an offline upgrade of your Zerto Virtual Manager appliance. So I think that's a real great benefit, especially considering certain circumstances you might not want to connect your Zerto Virtual Manager appliance out to the web. 100% understandable. This now allows all those customers who can't do that to get the benefits of the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance, like encryption detection, the more lightweight pre-hardened appliances. All of those things come with the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance, and now those dark sites can benefit from having those available to them. And we now support full tags in AWS, so helping you manage, enable cost control, improve visibility using AWS tags for Zerto in Cloud for AWS. So you can protect workloads using AWS tags, obviously then fail over using AWS tags, and they will maintain those tags once they failed over as well. So if you then need to fail them back, you can do it on the same tags as well. Just giving you that visibility, great granular control, especially running at scale inside of AWS. It's going to be very hard to do it on names or groupings and things like that. Tagging is so much easier. We should always be tagging our workloads and such inside of those cloud environments. So using tags to manage Zerto is now a nice simple way of doing that. And that's the same for VMware environments. So we've supported VMware tags or vSphere tags for a long time now. But tags are now preserved when we do a migration from platform to platform. If we migrate across to another VMware environment, we're going to then preserve that tag, so you can then benefit from having that tag already pre-applied when you do a migration. So now if you want to then reprotect it using Zerto or move it back or move it to another platform, you can now do that on the tags. So that's all we have from the Zerto standpoint for Q1 this year. Again, if you have any questions, put them into the chat. Martin's either answering them live or we'll get to them at the end. Probably a little bit of both if we've got some good questions coming in. So please put your questions in the chat if you have anything. So let's look at what's new in GreenLake for backup and recovery. So we now enable you to do air-gapped recovery. So I think a massive use case for this would be in an incident of a cyber attack or a malware or a ransomware attack. Most organizations' first thing to do would be to cut the internet, right? Make sure we don't have data exfiltration. We don't want anything going in or out of the network during this time. But unfortunately, if we've got data stored in the cloud or anything else, or have a cloud control plane, suddenly it means we can't recover data using that methodology. Well, in HPE GreenLake for backup and recovery, you can still recover those on-premises workloads you've got stored in the on-premises data stores, even though you might not have access to the GreenLake portal because of the network connectivity. So air-gapped recovery, or even if the internet is down for whatever reason in your environment, you can still recover that data using the GreenLake backup and recovery software without the need for a connection to the GreenLake portal. We're improving scale, so protect, manage, and recover workloads in those protection groups we know and love from Zerto in a very similar manner. We're now allowing that inside of the backup and recovery product. And also we can now do bulk actions are now supported across those protection groups. So bulk protect, bulk recover. So we can recover multiple virtual machines in a single action, a single task within those protection groups as well. Massive improvement. Unlocking multi-cloud resilience. So we've now enabled customers to store their data in a HPE Cloud Protection Store in either Azure or AWS. So previously it was only an AWS option. We've now added Azure as a secondary option for that. Some customers prefer to store their data in one cloud over the other, and some might just be a pure location basis. You want to keep your data in a certain location. AWS doesn't have a region there, but Azure does. So we've now given you the choice of choosing either Azure or AWS for the HPE Cloud Protection Store when using backup and recovery. We've improved reporting and compliance. So enhanced email notifications, so you can sign up for those email notifications. And that, you're now going to get a full job report every single day for all of the jobs that are run, how many were successful, any issues you had. Massive for reporting, really good for compliance needs as well if you need to send that on to auditors and things like that to say, hey, these are our backups, they've been running fine or they haven't been running fine, etc. We can now configure pre and post backup scripts for volume protection at a global scale. So inside of that GreenLake cloud platform, inside the data services cloud console, we can configure pre and post backup scripts when we're protecting volumes. Probably the biggest use case that I see for this would be quiescing applications, for instance. You want to quiesce an application before we take a backup in a pre-backup script. That's going to be the ideal place to do that. Put that script in place, pause the application, quiesce it, flush the memory, etc. Put it into a state where you're happy with it to be backed up, then do the volume protection, the volume backup, and then restart it again. So I think that's an ideal use case, and that can be configured out, as I said, at that global scale. So you don't have to do it on an individual level, at that global level. And we've added resilience for SQL servers. So an agentless cross-platform protection and restore for physical SQL servers. So again, fully agentless, which I know I mentioned a minute ago, but I think that's a really important point. No agents to install means nothing to manage. Don't have to worry about compatibility and security and all those things. Are completely agentless for those physical servers, but also we can restore back into a virtual environment as well. So if you have got a physical SQL server, we maybe want to restore it for testing purposes into a virtual environment to do some upgrade testing or some patch testing or some whatever else you want to do, or we want to restore it or forever in a virtual environment. That's a real great use case. But we can also go the other way around. So from a virtual, we can restore to a physical as well. I think that's a really great benefit if you've built a SQL box that's now a bit too hungry for virtualized environments, or you feel like it might perform better in a physical world. You can now cross-platform restore that back into a physical device as well. So really, really great benefits there. And then what's new for HPE GreenLake for disaster recovery? So we have global management updates. So we can now globally manage VRA deployment, globally manage re-IPing, and custom journal settings are now shown directly in the data services cloud console. So again, we're getting to the point where we'll be able to manage a lot of the systems globally from the data services cloud console and giving you more visibility into what you want to do. Being able to deploy VRAs across multiple sites, no matter where you are in the world, from one single portal, really, really valuable, really valuable. We have increased visibility. We're now showing you full VPG alerting, full errors, and the detailed statuses of each VPG as well, whereas beforehand we were showing you just meeting SLA and not meeting SLA. We're now showing you the full status of that, so you can really dive down and dig deeper into potential issues, potential problems, or even just the status, whether they're in failover live, failover test, whatever it may be. we're now allowing you to dig in, deeper with increased visibility. And then protecting more of your critical assets. So customers, we can now protect up to 750 VMs on a subscription. This isn't a technical limitation. This is more of an administrative thing, if you will, but allowing customers to protect more than what they need. So up to 750. That isn't a hard limit either. If you want to protect more than that, come and talk to us. Come talk to your reps or your sales teams or whoever it may be you need to speak to. We can sort that out absolutely. But from an off-the-shelf point of view, up to 750 VMs. We can also align it with the billing with your other HPE GreenLake services. So we can now do monthly billing for HPE GreenLake for disaster recovery as well. So that subscription basis on a monthly bill, I think really, really helpful as well. I just want to give people a view to the unified data protection with HPE GreenLake. So I've mentioned HPE GreenLake for disaster recovery and HPE GreenLake for backup and recovery. So two separate services, but all accessed from the same console, which is the Data Services Cloud Console hosted in HPE GreenLake Cloud Platform. So in the same place you're going to be configuring backup and recovery, you can now configure disaster recovery alongside maybe deploying VMs in Private Cloud Business Edition or configuring storage in your Electra MP, for instance. So you can really just start seeing how all of this is going to tie together with the whole hybrid cloud infrastructure and hybrid cloud by design, making sure that we understand that we can deploy VMs into Azure, protect them, and do whatever we need to do with those, or create more storage for disaster recovery or create more storage for our backup and recovery on our Electra platform in the same console we're now configuring protection for those workloads as well. So you can see where the story's going. You can see that single destination for SaaS-based backup and DR alongside those other infrastructure services as well. So hopefully that gives you a refresh and an idea about where these sit in the portfolio, and they purposely sit alongside infrastructure services in the Data Services Cloud Console. And I said at the beginning that I don't think this is going to be a hugely long one. Hopefully we've got some questions come through as well, so we can answer those questions. But if you want more information, go to help.zerto.com for that, or the GreenLake website. So greenlake.hpe.com for all the release notes, for all the detailed features and functionality of what we've spoken about today. So if you want to see it for yourself, a live tailored demo for any of the products we've spoken, info@zerto.com, email that and we can get someone aligned to you to do a tailored demo to your use cases. Hands-on labs. So if you are wanting to try out Zerto and you think, oh, that's a really great feature we've spoken about today, or in previous sessions that you've seen, or you've seen other things and bits and bobs, zerto.com/labs, sign up to the labs there. They're completely free of charge, always on demand. You can just deploy them anytime you like, day or night, get a lab environment, completely self-paced, fully guided, and enables you to essentially try out Zerto in a sandbox environment, do whatever you need to do with it, play around with it, learn, break it, fix it, whatever you want to do with it, as I said, free of charge and on demand as well. And if you would like to try any of the GreenLake products we've spoken about, you can try them for free for 90 days at testdrive.greenlake.hpe.com. Free 90-day trial for any of the services we've spoken about today. So you want to test it out, see how it works, see how it looks, do whatever you need to do with it. Again, make sure you sign up for the free trial as well for the test drive. Then, if you don't believe anything I've said today and how good Zerto and the rest of the HPE portfolio for data protection is, have a look from honest reviews from real customers. So from G2, Gartner Peer Insights, Trust Radius, etc. Have a look at the scores, have a look at the reviews, have a look at what other people are saying, whether you might find someone from the same industry as you or in a similar position that you find yourself in your company or a similar situation. And you might be able to kind of glean some insights as to how Zerto or HPE have solved the problem for that customer as well. So on that note, I'd like to take some questions. Hopefully, Martin, we've got a few lined up. And I said it's going to be a little bit of a short one because I didn't want to read the release notes to you, and I didn't want to get people to get bored and those types of things. So hopefully we've got some good questions, Martin. I think we've got a few in the chat already. I can see. So yeah, do you want to fire them at me and we'll answer them live?
Yeah, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. So we have one question. I know you briefly touched on the dark sites. Can you go into detail about some of the use case? I know we have the cyber resilience vault that fits well, but can you go into a little bit more detail about the benefits of this new feature?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So I did mention the cyber resilience vault. So I think I'll cover that one again in a little bit more detail. So inside of the Zerto cyber resilience vault, Essentially, inside of the vault, we want that completely isolated, fully air-gapped away. So any malware that we manage to get or ransomware that we manage to get on our production systems can't find their way in. Obviously, to have an air gap and to have it completely isolated away from production and away from the web, etc., it has to be completely isolated, as we've just mentioned. So that is a perfect use case for the offline upgrade for the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance. That means that we can place the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance inside of the cyber resilience vault, get all the updates, all the benefits from that we mentioned before, the simpler the pre-hardened operating systems, the security patches released by Zerto, all of those updates are nice and easy to do, plus all the other benefits that come with it. All of that can be in the cyber resilience vault without needing to ever connect it out to the web to upgrade. Massive bonus. And that's not just for cyber resilience vault, that's for all other dark sites. So I know there's plenty of service providers and MSPs out there that run dark sites for highly regulated or highly secure environments that don't want to ever connect out to the web. They can now benefit from the great things that the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance has without needing to connect out to the internet anytime. A lot of people used to do it via a proxy, which sometimes caused problems or slowness or delays, or potentially configured networking when they wanted to do an upgrade and then turned it off again. Again, more manual effort, there's more things we needed to do that we didn't really need to do. And now they don't have to do any of that stuff because we've now got the offline upgrade.
Very good. We have another question that's come in. So, we have some people here that are still on Zerto 9.5. Can they upgrade straight from there to this new version that you're describing?
So they'll need to go to 9.7 and then migrate from there. And if you wanted to figure out how to do that, we actually have a hands-on lab that will guide you through migrating from the Windows appliance to the Zerto Virtual Manager appliance as well. So you can try it before you do it as well. So we have a full lab available for that as well.
Perfect. Thank you for that answer. We have another one that just come in. So the Linux-based ZCA for AWS you described, is that also available for Azure?
Absolutely, great question. And I'm sorry if it wasn't clear earlier, but yes, so now for essentially all of our platforms that are running Zerto 10, we can now offer a Linux-based Zerto management layer. So that whether that's the Zerto Cloud Appliance for AWS or Azure, which are available in both marketplaces. So in the AWS marketplace and the Azure marketplace, you can deploy directly from there now, or whether that's running VMware and you're running it using, deploying it using an OVF file that you've downloaded, or whether you're using GreenLake for disaster recovery, you're essentially pulling that and deploying it straight from the GreenLake cloud platform. But all of them are running pre-hardened Linux appliances in all platforms running Zerto 10.
Perfect. And we have another question that's just come in. So, any news on HPE Discover yet? Will Zerto be there?
Yeah, Zerto will absolutely be there. Yes, the HPE Discover is in Las Vegas this year. I'm hoping that my boss lets me go because I do love going. Yeah, Las Vegas this year, and I think they announced that the keynote is going to be in the Sphere. So if anyone is interested, it runs from June 17th to June 20th. Yeah, hopefully I'll be there. Hopefully, but yeah, if you can get yourselves along. It's going to be a massive event. I know it's hopefully going to be one of the biggest ones yet. And yeah, and that keynote is going to be in the Sphere. So I think that's going to be really cool to catch as well.
Perfect. And we had another one that just came in. So just to confirm, GreenLake for backup recovery for physical SQL servers. Am I right to assume virtualized SQL servers are still supported as well?
Absolutely, fully supported. Yeah. So virtualized SQL on any of them hypervisor as well, I believe, as long as you're using the Electra MP or and it's supported the SCC volume underneath, but also inside of VMware, we can do those change block tracking or CBT backups for SQL as well, including transaction logs and things like that. And again, if you do want any more details on anything that I have said, and you don't want to put it into a question, you want to go find it for yourself, yeah, go on to the the GreenLake sites or the Zerto help sites, and you'll find the release notes, and you'll find all the full technical detail of all of that, all the stuff we've spoken about today, and all the new features of functionality. I just didn't want to sit here and really release notes to you guys because I think people would have got really bored on this this Thursday afternoon, where I'm sat anyway, Thursday afternoon. with me just reading release notes. So I wanted to keep it quite light, quite high level, and then let people do their research. But yeah, we've had some great questions. Have we got any more, or is that the lot?
That's it for now, but if anyone has any more pressing questions, they can feel free to reach out to us and we'll address them after this webinar.
Yeah, amazing, perfect. And thank you very much for your questions. They've been challenging, but really, really, really good. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you on the next webinar. I can't remember exactly when that is. It's probably April or May time, but keep an eye out. You'll get it in your inboxes. You'll get the recording of this webinar sent to you as well. So you can watch back if you need to double check any of the content or look back at any of the features or functionality that were released in Q1. But just as a closing statement, one thing to take away: resilience and scale. That's what we focused on in Q1. So hopefully you're going to achieve that. And yeah, look forward to seeing you all. Hopefully at HPE Discover if we're all there. That'd be amazing, and meet some of you guys. But yeah, on that note, we'll log off, and thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Martin, for doing the panel for us.